Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Raleigh Board of Selectmen, July 15th, 2013 meeting. First, to bring the meeting to order, remind everybody that this meeting is being audio taped and videotaped. And first on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Bob, will you lead us in the pledge?
My pleasure, Mr. Chairman. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Bob. Okay. Tonight, I have no chairman's comments. Okay, just to let everyone know, between 7:05 and 7:15, we will have citizens' query, and that will begin in about a minute. If anybody has any questions at that time, they can query the Board of Selectmen at the time. Doesn't mean that the Board of Selectmen will answer those questions, but we'll take them under advisement and then return back. Okay, first on the agenda we have an appointment. An appointment is a very pleasurable appointment tonight. Here we have with us George Pasanka. And George Pasanka, as many of us know, in town runs our local Eagle Scout program, and in all the years George has brought through 34 Eagle Scouts. Am I correct, George? Right. 34 Eagle Scouts you've brought through the Raleigh program. Of a total of 59 Eagle Scouts have come through.
Congratulations.
That is quite a feat. Also, last year I was president of the Ipswich Rotary, and I had the pleasure at the installation dinner last month to present George with Person of the Year, Raleigh. And they present a Person of the Year for Ipswich and a Person of the Year for Raleigh. Jeff Loeb was the Person of the Year over in Ipswich, and it was unanimous that George, you became the Person of the Year for the Ipswich Rotary, which is a big deal. And you're also the first person from Raleigh to be named Person of the Year from the Ipswich Rotary. So, George.
Congratulations. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you.
George. Well, in the Chronicle, the newspaper, a picture of George at the installation dinner, with the plaque that George now holds and his hand over there. Okay, we're going to get some pictures. I'm going to bring you up front, but first we're going to talk about all the service that you've done, all the years that you've done this, George, and all of us. I mean, this is a big deal because of there've been so many Eagle Scouts, in our nation that have gone on to greatness, and it's men like you who work with these young people and bring them along and foster them and look over them, and I know you always say you wind them up and let them go, and then they do everything, but if it wasn't for you, they wouldn't get wound up.
I wound them up, yes.
You wind them up, that's right. So.
Yeah, I wound up yeah.
So first, I'm going to ask for a motion from the board for this proclamation.
I'll make that motion.
Second it. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
And the proclamation reads, "We, the Board of Selectmen of the town of Raleigh, Massachusetts, by virtue of the authority vested in us by the people of Raleigh as elected officials, do hereby proclaim George Pasanka, having faithfully led the Raleigh Boy Scouts in an exemplary manner for more than 25 years, during which time he has guided 34 young men to the rank of Eagle Scout. It was appointed the Man of the Year by the Ipswich Raleigh Rotary. The Board of Selectmen wishes to bestow its most sincere gratitude. We urge all the citizens of the town of Raleigh, its community leaders, business, and government officials to recognize this achievement in service. In witness thereof, we have hereby set our hands on the seal of the town of Raleigh this 15th day of July, 2013. So I need a pen. Make this official. Thank you, Bob. Sign that, please.
I need a pen.
Oh, you need the pen, yeah, you need the pen back.
Congratulations. I'm Philip McGowan, 39 Glen Street.
Oh, okay. Saw your name there, I was wondering.
Okay, oh, Joe. George, who was the first? Do you remember your first Eagle Scout that you brought through?
He was a kid from Salisbury.
Really?
Yep, Tony Jankowski.
How old is he now?
He must be 33 or 34 years old.
Wow. Oh.
He's something in the Wendy's food chain. I'm not sure where he's in that, but he was working up through their business management thing. We've got guys who are in the diplomatic service, a lot of kids in college, just everything and everywhere, doing everything. We have police officers.
I mean, some of the. I mean, we mentioned at the installation to some of the great people. Neil Armstrong,
Yep.
first man on the moon. He was an Eagle Scout. I'm trying to think of all the other names we mentioned. We were talking about that
A
night.
lot of baseball and
lot of baseball.
football players have been.
Spielberg was
Spielberg,
a
right.
yeah. Spielberg was an Eagle Scout.
That's where he got his start in photography.
for the program.
Right. He
Wow.
did photography merit badge and then went into video work and came up with everything he did.
Yeah, a lot of entertainers. A lot of.
Yes.
So George, why don't you come up here?
Mr.
We're going to
Chairman,
show off that plaque. Sure. Put that in. Here's that plaque. I was able to present to George a couple of weeks ago, and maybe get some pictures. Come on, guys.
Snuggle up a little bit. What are you, afraid of one another?
Big smile. Come on, a couple of pictures. There we go, guys.
Good going.
Woohoo! George, congratulations.
Come on, it's a celebration.
Yeah, this is,
Thanks, Jack.
a perfect pick for the town of Raleigh, the first man of the year from in here. Okay, let's hold all these up for. Take a lot of pictures, one's gonna come out good. It's my secret to photography.
Good job.
Yeah.
George, again,
Thank you.
thank you for your service.
You know what, it's
All
been
young
a
men.
pleasure working with the boys in this town, and if you think about how many people are in this town, and how many boys that have come out of the Eagle program, some of the older ones I found out are lieutenant colonels. One of them is a commander in the Navy.
Oh.
And one of them is our own pharmacist, Bill McDonald.
Oh, that's
All right.
very nice.
We have a doctor in Kylie,
Yeah,
Billy Kylie.
that's right.
Yep. So they've gone on and been somebody or done something with their lives.
Well, it wasn't for you, like I said, winding them up.
Well, that's just what I do, is wind them up.
Right? Thank you, George.
Thank you.
All right.
Good job.
George, thank you for coming in.
Thank you,
Thank
George.
you.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
We just remind our citizen query is still going on. It's about 13 minutes after the hour.
Yeah.
And at 7:15, we have an appointment with Vanessa Johnson, Assistant Director of Land Conservation. and Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak for the signing of the conservation restriction for the McGowan property. Okay, we got about another minute before that. And Brent, you're here. You snuck in, I didn't see you.
Talking about Eagle Scouts, and my ears perked up.
Hmm?
Talking about Eagle Scouts, and my ears perked up.
Mr. Chairman,
Are you an Eagle Scout too, Brent?
Eagle Scout.
See? Okay, we got about 15 seconds. We're gonna do everything on time.
Hopefully in about 2 months, we'll add a Perry to that list.
Eagle Scout?
My grandson will be getting his in Franklin.
Really?
Yep.
Well, congratulations, that's great. It is quite a feat.
It is. Truly is.
It really is. Okay, it is 7:15. Citizen query is now over. And we'll move on. And again, we have, as I said before, 7:15, we have an appointment. Vanessa Johnson, Assistant Director of Land Conservation, and Conservation Agent Brent Bazelak for the signing of the conservation restriction on McGowan property. Philip and Sharon McGowan of 28 Glen Street have placed a conservation restriction on their property. The CR is to be held by the Essex County Greenbelt Association. Debbie had Town Council review the document. Judy Pickett had one minor comment in the document, that the Town of Raleigh be notified any amendment, agreement, or lease of conservation restriction which Greenbelt inserted into the town. Attached is a letter of the Conservation Commission regarding the CR. The document is ready for the Board of Selectmen to sign. Conservation Brent Bazelak will notarize it. So, with that, should read this into the record.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Subject, municipal certification, McGowan Conservation Restriction. Dear Chairman Snow, the Raleigh Conservation Commission respectfully conveys its support of the conservation restriction on 28 Glen Street, map 21, parcel 5, lot 1, owned by Philip and Sharon McGowan, and to be held by the Essex County Greenbelt Association. The Conservation Commission has asked to verify the existence of the qualities and characteristics of the subject property that would serve the public interest by the implementation of the conservation restriction. The subject property is bounded by the Mill River to the east, Glen Street and Mill River to the north. The property contains a riparian corridor of a section of the Mill River and numerous regulated wetland resource areas, included river floodplain, bordering vegetated wetlands, part of the river itself, but not the Glen River Dam. To the end, a field inspection was held on June 10th, 2013, accompanied by Miss Vanessa Johnson of Essex County Greenbelt Association. Prior to the field inspection, in-house review was conducted to verify various statements made by a municipal certification document submitted for endorsement. As a result, the field visit in the house review, a positive recommendation was offered to the Conservation Commission. The Commission, at the public meeting of June 18, 2013, voted to sign the municipal certification attesting to the natural resource attributes of the property. This review did not include a review of the conservation restriction itself or language contained therein. The Commission respectfully offers this recommendation to the Board of Selectmen in support of the McGowan request for protection of the natural resources contained on this property by a conservation restriction. Sincerely, yours, Brent Bazelak, Conservation Agent. All right, do you have anything to add to this?
Thanks for your help. in this project going forward. When the
Ms. McDonald, you have anything to?
yeah, when the property was subdivided, it was 14 acres, I believe, the Hampy property, 16, and it was right along the river going up the street. It was a beautiful corridor, and we had the opportunity to buy the lot, and we did so. And now, going into the future, we'd like to preserve that lot for our. It's a little selfish. We're birders, and we really love that that area be just the way it is for the birds. We see herons in the morning coming in, flying in to take advantage of the fishing in that little marshland there. And it's a really special area. It really enhances the neighborhood, and it's a jewel. So we're able to do this, and we're happy to do it.
I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's selfish for your purpose. So that's that's
Pretty
wonderful.
little spot, even though there's an awful lot of poison ivy and rose bushes over there. It's still a pretty little spot.
Well, I think most
There's a
of
lot of wildlife there.
at this time of year, well, Raleigh's got a lot of poison ivy, a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of poison ivy, a lot of greenheads. So we could use a little less poison ivy, and we need a bird that can eat all the greenheads. What?
I said our motto is not to spread it around.
Not to
That's
spread it
yes,
around.
that's a very good motto. So, Brent, first of all, we need.
So, Mr. Chairman, you should have the CR in there with a little tag to sign here.
Yes.
So we need to take a
Okay.
motion.
So we have
Mr. Chairman.
a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I move we vote to accept McGowan's generous gift of land on Glen Street.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. I will sign the document on the right-hand side.
Yes, I believe so.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
There's actually ample enough signatures there. I think there's no issue on which one, Vanessa, that they sign on.
Bob
No, I
Veto.
just want to, it's page 18, because I have another original here. I just want to make
Yeah,
sure
it's
when I
page
put
18.
the page in.
Page
yeah.
18, right?
This
Okay.
is the little cross.
Yeah, we're signing off on 18.
Great.
Hi, Chief. Joe?
Chairman Snow, all the documents making its way around. Would you be so kind
Sure, Brent.
as to...
I'll have to borrow your pen, though.
Sir.
Here you go, Brent. Here's your pen, otherwise I'll walk away with it. Do you need a...
Yes, please.
Okay. Official now. There we go. Okay. Anything else? That's it?
That's it. If we could just make a copy of that. Do you need that this evening, Vanessa?
I do,
Or-
but it's going to be recorded and then it'll be publicly available.
Could
Or
we
I can
just-
scan it tomorrow morning and email it.
Okay, or we could just get a copy of that signature page right now.
Sure.
And then you can just take the
Sure,
vote.
that'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We just have a pause for paperwork. We do this all the time. I want to thank the McGowans for very kind of what you've done. And again, I think this will, for generations going forward, this will be.
Well, it's an old neighborhood, you know? There's that house right there from 1714, it's an old,
Yeah, basically, I mean, it's in the historic district, Glen Mills historic site. First fulling mill in the colonies, Rowley's claim to fame.
I've seen pictures of it in the early 20s before it burned down. It was quite the place.
It was really, really
A lot of
nice.
big buildings there.
Yeah,
When you look
yeah,
at
they
it
had
now,
a
you never think
Really
was it?
going was the Glen Mills Cereal Company.
Oh, okay.
They had a fire there about 1918, and lost all but a couple of the buildings. And the jewel mill itself was actually built on the foundation of the mill, around the corn and wheat and so forth. So, I mean, it's very nice to now have it protected,
Yes.
so that in the future that will always stay that site, which is great. Absolutely fantastic.
You said there was a cereal company?
Glen Mills.
Glen Mills Cereal.
And in Dummer, Glen Mills Cereal Company.
Yeah, they were the first people to package cereal for retail.
Right, in like paper bags.
Yeah,
like
in
they
smaller
use.
pack instead of
Smaller
like
packages instead of-
huge 50-pound bags. They were breaking
Basically,
it down into smaller.
Most of it
Oh,
was
wow.
in barrels at some point. And they actually grew their own grain across the street. That's why that little side street that went down through there that now is just dead end because the state closed off. That was their access to the other side of Route 1 where they had fields
Yeah.
to plant grain. And they also brought a lot of grain in on a train. And they had wagons that they would load it into and bring it up to the mill to process it.
Yeah, we had somebody pull in and tell us they were first attracted to us, I think, because they were Volkswagen diesel aficionados. But he knew that that neighborhood was all run by steam at one time, which might have been steam power
Well,
for
they had-
housing and stuff.
They
in
had
that
some
area.
steam there later on, but the basic majority of it, even when it was the pulling mill back in 1642, was the dam and water power.
Yeah.
And even the cereal company ran water power
Yeah.
when they could, and they had a small steam engine in one of the buildings here that they used when they didn't have enough water. So,
And after the fire, that was it? That was the end of the...
yeah, basically they couldn't save the building, and they moved to Newburyport. And they operated out of Newburyport for a period of time, and then it just went out of business. But, and they were tied up with Graham Cracker people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they worked with them to bring some of these grains in for health purposes, healthy foods. So it's quite an interesting
Yeah.
operation they had there.
Yeah, there's the History of Rowley book that's available has it's been very illuminating to me on that.
Good. That's what we planned it. So, we planned it.
Well, I learned a lot tonight about that. I didn't realize we had a cereal factory at one time. Evidently, Mr. Post and Mr. Kellogg heard about this. Huh?
Yeah, they finally copied it.
They copied it. Caught on.
It was actually Nat Dummer's grandfather,
Really?
and in Dummer, yeah. Nathaniel Noyce Dummer, that ran the company, he and his brothers. So,
So, thank you for coming in tonight, and thank you for what you've
Thank
done.
you all.
Thank
Vanessa,
you very
thank you
much.
for coming in.
Brent,
you.
thank
thank
you.
Greenbelt for
Okay.
stepping
Greenbelt
forward
for stepping
to
forward, taking the
to
land.
help us with it, and thank the McGowans for their generosity.
All right. Thank
you.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Mr. Cook.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you so much.
It's Rubber Mary. You got
Thank
it?
you.
I got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Vanessa, thank you for
Thanks for
coming
the
in.
extra history.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you so
in.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. timed that just right because with another 30 seconds we go to our next appointment. Okay. Just to remind everybody that this meeting is being audio taped and videotaped. And before you speak, just please identify yourself and where you come from. Okay. All right, it is now 7:30. We have an appointment with Paul Boudreau and Steve Conley for an update on the proposed bicycle competition on the Conley property. Paul Boudreau has submitted the attached plan for the Board of Selectmen to review. He has also contacted the Concom, Health, Highway, Police, Fire Departments. These department heads will provide comments to the Selectmen. And with that, Paul, I'm going to turn this over to you
Okay,
and just give us update.
okay, yep. Well, thanks for your time again, appreciate it. Since we last spoke, I had kind of a punch list of people to contact from Debbie, and I went through that, so,
And just to ask everybody tonight to speak up a little bit. We have the air conditioning on tonight. It does make a little hum for the television audience at home.
Okay.
So if we turn it off, it'll be hotter than Hades in here, so.
okay. So I spoke to Frank over at, I'm sorry, the last name, Marcia Gianni, the Health Services Inspector, and he went over the 3 concerns that he had regarding the event. Food, we talked about licensing, preferably having people from Rowley with a Rowley license. And if people from Rowley are not available to vend, then having somebody from out of town get a temporary town permit. So clear on the food aspect of things. Second thing he was concerned about was porta potties. So in the other events, I used the Shed, which is based in Gloucester, and they are an approved vendor with the town of Rowley. So, and then the final item he had was trash pickup. So talking to about 3 different companies right now to figure out a plan for trash pickup. You know, it would be having them bring a rollover and then barrels, and then working on a solid plan for trash removal for the weekend. Next up, I spoke to Brent Baselak from the Conservation Commission. And so I explained to him what the event entailed, and I think I understand what his concerns are, and I was able to allay them by basically saying that we're not looking to do anything other than possibly mow some grass. He had some concerns about erosion, loss of vegetative cover, which can affect a non-developed area. And you know, basically I went through how we're going to set up the course, and you know, we're not chopping down trees, we're not getting rid of brush. Really, it's just, you know, if the grass is a little thick where we expect to have cars parking and that sort of thing, we may mow the lawn or something like that, but that's the extent of it. So after our conversation, he had no issues. And then finally, actually, I spoke to Ron Kiefer, the highway surveyor, and he said he had no issues at all. And then finally was the Chief Broderick from the fire department and Chief Parker from the police department. So I met with them last Friday at the firehouse. We had some concerns, and you know, I have some things that I need to deliver to them. They had asked what the effect of the event was at our previous location, and I have basically I talked to the fire chief at that location, and he said that if we were going to do the event again up there at that city, he would only have 1 ambulance standby at the venue for both days, and that's really the extent of the impact. I need to get a map to show them roughly the course, just kind of the layout. Where basically, I think there was a concern about density of people, so we want to show where the course is going to go, where the expo is going to be, so that people know, where the flow of people is going to be. Another concern was food, if people are going to be there with propane and that sort of thing. One other concern was access to the nursing home, the Solstice School, and the Ruby's Ranch. Because as you saw in my plan, I think we're talking about temporary closure of part of Mansion Drive and then part of Bowlery Road. And in both cases, those streets would only be used for the start of the race where we stage our riders. And then once they get onto the Grandview Farm property, then you don't see them. So really, we're talking about every hour, almost on the hour, maybe 10 minutes of blocking the road, and that's about it. Let's see, another issue, they're concerned about traffic backup on Kittery Avenue. So one of the deliverables I have, which is I'm going to go to the property and kind of measure how many cars we can put on there. I think I've got a measuring wheel. I'll go over there. We'll get a rough estimate of how many cars. I think that's a concern for the police chief. And then I think the final concern I have was bees. I know that bees are active, and they were talking about making sure that people with allergies are aware that bees are around that time of year, and making sure EpiPens are available, that sort of thing. So, and I know both the chiefs are here tonight. So,
And Frank's up the back there.
so okay, all right. Okay, so I think that's basically all I've got right now. So I can answer more questions, and I think we have a few things to work out here.
The board have any questions?
The only thing I would suggest is that because the races themselves are going to start on what is considered a town road, Mansion Drive and Bowlery, part of Bowlery Drive. When we've had these events in the past, cycle races that come through town, not necessarily that stay here and keep doing it, but when they pass through town and so forth, we get a insurance coverage that names the town as one of the insured.
Yep.
So I don't know if they did that in Gloucester or not, but
That's part of our standard procedure where with the host city will have as an additional insured on the policy. Yep.
that's what I would suggest. So,
Sure.
okay, sounds like we're in.
Any other questions?
On this map, on the parking A, B, C, and D, is
Yep.
that you're going to stage from A to B to?
Yeah, I mean that was
Basically,
the
or-
thinking. That was the thinking there. Yep.
Steve, you have anything to add? Okay. Ron?
I was just curious, is there gonna be parking on Kittery? Is that what?
No.
Okay. House trailers, and if we have rain, those shoulders get really, really soft.
Paul, have you approached the neighbors on Kittery?
I have not yet. Once I get a list, I'll send out just a one-page flyer describing what the event is and my contact information.
Chief, do you have anything to say?
Well, just on the point of parking, I'd be asking Selectmen to put some no parking on Kittery's event, and I'd like to post because if we have that much traffic down that road, if there's anything on the street that is going to create a
For traffic, the office would buy for.
well, we're around now. The plan isn't really fleshed out yet. I'm thinking a number somewhere around 3 at this point, but certain things could affect that as well.
Okay. Chief, do you have anything?
As soon as he gets the rest of the information to us, we can make we really can't give you anything right now.
Okay, we're
We're
still
not prepared to.
in the preliminaries, I take it.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Brian?
Yeah, Mr. Boudreau contacted me in the office, and full disclosure, I will readily declare, never participated, never attended, never been involved in any type of event of this nature. So from that basis, I was only able to ask relatively uninformed. questions, which may or may not be pertinent, but
Mhm.
I kind of started at the animal, vegetable, mineral category and asked whether there was any clearing, any earth disturbance, cutting of vegetation, bringing in fill, that type of thing, and was assured that in a sense, they're using the previously established meadows, fields, hills and dales out there, not cutting new trails, not anticipating bringing in any type of different surface treatment to provide either a sand track or a gravel track or anything like that. So in that regards, pretty much say at this point in time, the Conservation Department doesn't have any concerns in regards to the actual implementation and holding of this event as we understand the circumstances and the course layout and preparation.
Thank you. Frank, you're, this,
Well, pretty much mentioned all the concerns that we have. A few details to work out, but nothing major.
would be food permits and,
Yeah, some minor details.
Okay.
Let's figure out.
okay, so you're still in the preliminary
Yeah.
discussions there. Okay.
We have in the meantime, but
Oh, he's preparing a pretty good event. Looks like he's gonna follow what the police chief, the fire chief are looking. Not gonna blockage the road, it's gonna be all on the Conley property, the cars. Sounds like it's a good plan.
And Mr. Chairman, I think we need to get the finalized reports back from the fire chief and the police chief and board of health and so forth.
Come back here on the 29th with everything else?
Would that be possible?
Do you think so?
Yep.
We can do that in the next 2 weeks,
sure thing.
everybody?
Moving forward from there.
Okay, so
Okay.
thank you for the update, and
Thanks for your
we'll see you in
time.
2 weeks, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Again. Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate it.
Okay, we have an appointment at 8 o'clock. It's now 7:42. At 8 o'clock, we have Howard Turner to discuss appointment to Conservation Commission. That's why Mr. Islak is still with us. Right. Okay, so who's going to general business?
Can we do general business while Mr. O'Keefe's here?
Yes, we will do it.
Quick.
Let's do that. Good idea, Jack. It's right on top. Okay, general business number 4. Chapter 44, I'm sorry. Letter from the highway surveyor, Ron Keefe, dedication of backhoe. As you're aware, the town of Riley's new backhoe has arrived. We have put a lot of thought into the dedication plaque for Scott. As we're talking about Scott Lovett. That is what we have come up with. Dedicated in loving memory of Ashley Scott Levitt, highway surveyor and tree warden from 1991 to 2013. If any have any suggestions, please contact me. Thank you. Ron Keefe, highway surveyor. Ron, come on up here instead of sitting in the back of the room there.
That's a nice tribute to Scott. It is.
Pat, come on forward. The highway department here. Yeah, this is,
Pat and I sat there for a good 10-15 minutes just looking at each other, and we couldn't come up with anything. And that was the only thing fitting.
yeah, I
And
think
we'd actually like to put it on a small brass plaque and install it inside the cab, because we feel that if it's outside, between the grease and mud, it would be
Yeah.
shameful to see it smeared. And hopefully, we can have it ready for the kids' night maybe if one of you are available, dedicated that night, if we can get a trophy shop to do it.
And just to give people at home, talk about the equipment itself.
It is a 2013 John Deere 410 backhoe. It's the last thing Scott and I worked on. We actually, the night that Pat and I drove down, was on Valentine's night. We didn't even see our wife because we did snow removal that night. We drove down to see him, and when I walked in, he was laying there in bed, and I says, "Hey Scott, I'm not here to see you. I actually forgot to sign the PO to buy the backhoe." I won't tell you what he said. We did a lot of research. The John Deere was a little bit more money, but after doing a lot of research, actually, the John Deere was a far better machine. We have used it limited. We try not to get it dirty until the kids' night. We actually use it up in the common with the. We have a power thumb on it, so we can actually grab logs, and it lifted a log like it was just paper. We have a 4-in-1 bucket on the front. We have forks. We have a grading bucket attachment for the front for the dirt roads, and we have 3 buckets on the back. We have a 24-inch, a 12-inch for trench work, and we have a 36-inch knuckle twister, so we can do trenches for drainage.
This is quite the machine.
Yeah, there was only one option we didn't get, and I didn't know about it until after we got it. It's too late. Mr. Cook was down to see it. The first day it was in.
Very good looking. Nice piece of equipment.
It is. The name going on it will do it justice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
fitting that Scott's name goes on this piece of equipment. Last couple of weeks there, we didn't know about Scott's condition, and those of us who went down and saw Scott and talked to him, he was so upbeat, he was so positive. I mean, I was out in front of the house, snow blowing one day, came by with a plowing, and he stopped and he talked to me and was just, so positive. And I mean, all of us, the whole town, were just shocked. But to know Scott, especially from the town's perspective, that he was a man, he wanted to, this new piece of equipment, he'd be in that cab of that piece of equipment, and he'd be the first one touching all the knobs, the buttons and everything else, and he'd be the first one to use it, and he'd be showing you guys, how to use this piece of equipment.
The sad thing, it was the only piece of equipment he actually physically didn't get in. He was too sick.
Yeah.
I actually drove Aldine one last time before the paperwork was signed. We started up, fired her up, and took her around the block. I was praying the whole time it didn't break down, but no, I don't realize if the people in town knew that it took the fire chief and myself to actually get him to get up and leave. He was determined that day, that Monday after the blizzard, and we tell the story to a lot of people who ask about him. He came in, he obviously gained 15 pounds over the weekend. You could tell this was the last blizzard. And he was determined to get in Aldine. He wanted to go out and push roads back.
I think the townspeople really have to understand, he was seriously ill, and he came into work to go out and plow the streets of the town he loved. This was who Scott Levitt was. We were all of us so privileged to have known Scott. He was, I'm no exaggeration when I say he was a prince of a man. He really was, and I mean, he is sorely missed by all of us. But I have to smile a little bit because all the memories of Scott are fond memories. They're, he was always had a quick joke for you and a sly smile. And
well, the last time I saw him was in intensive care. It was the last Friday he was alive. I went in. It was family only with his wife let me in. And walking out, he says, "Hey, Ron," and just gave his thumbs up.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
He was gone that night.
And it's no exaggeration to say he wanted to go up into the cab, Baldine, and pass away behind the wheel.
There's no doubt in my mind.
No doubt, and we've talked about that. And
Would have
He was.
That thing
was-
would have taken a few houses out with it. But
Well, we
they would have heard him come at first, but
We would
yeah,
just hope
was-
that Aldine, the brakes will work, that's all.
But like I've said before, even if it wasn't for the fire chief coming in, and I remember Arthur Page. It was Arthur Page said, "You got to go home." And then the fire chief came in, and the support system. And I've said it before, between Debbie, Amy, Doreen, you guys, and the fire chief was in the chaplain coming down. Everyone let down their titles. Everyone was just honestly, in the end, you could tell Riley for what it really was. It was really one big family.
Yep.
He was well loved by everybody in this town, you know, and people would call up and they'd complain, and he'd do what he had to do, you know. Many a morning that I've received a phone call from Scott telling me what transpired over the weekend, what transpired last night. That was the type of man he was. He was dedicated to his family and dedicated to the town. And what more can that's quite a statement for a life.
That said, that said, I got a suggestion.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know how much room you're gonna have, or how big a plaque you're gonna want, or anything like that, but I just kind of looked over your statement, which is great. But what I would like to add, and I'll read the whole thing, it says, dedicated in loving memory to Ashley Scott Levitt. And what I'd like to add on, if you guys agree, I mean, I'm not going to tell you to do it, I just want, because you know where you want to put it and where it's going to fit and everything. For his dedicated service to the town of Rowley as highway surveyor and tree warden from 1991 to 2003.
So I had dedicated service.
Yeah, well, it's after Levitt, before highway.
Yep.
On his dedicated service to the town of Rowley as, and then the surveyor of, actually highway surveyor and tree warden.
It's fine. It's fine.
So I think that would just add a little bit more, and Bob hit the nail on the head when you said dedicated, because Scott was dedicated. It didn't matter what you needed, he would find it somehow.
Yep.
And he would do it.
He had 5 weeks vacation a year. Am I right to say about 5 weeks? And he only took 1 week.
Yeah, that's the way he was. And, you know, he'd be sitting up there. I used to plow for the state, work for a contractor that actually happens to be in that neighborhood where he lives. And he'd be sitting out there in his truck waiting for him to call him when it started snowing. I mean, it was unbelievable, you know. And I had the opportunity to work with Scott for a number of years through the light department. Whatever you needed, you just asked him, and he was there. He'd help you out. And I did my best to reciprocate. If he needed something, we would try to help him out as much as we could. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But it was just an all-around nice guy. I knew his father, I knew his mother, great people. It's really sad. I mean, he had a lot to offer, and unfortunately he was taken very, very soon. A lot sooner than he should have been.
Actually, AJ gave me a call this evening, and the plaque that they gave his wife, there is a copy that I've been picking up at actually AJ's parents' house tomorrow, which will be hung in the highway garage.
Wonderful. Great.
Very nice.
He left us much too young.
Yep.
Yes.
But his fingerprint is everywhere in town.
Yes.
Every time you take a
It is.
corner,
Yep.
here it is.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And if we were going to set a pole somewhere, where's the property line? Well, it's right there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He never lost anything.
No,
He
he
knew
didn't.
where everything was. You
Yeah.
could say, Scott, I don't know where it is, and it's right there.
Yep.
Why did you buy a light bulb?
Exactly. Five
Wow.
of them right here, and he grabbed
There's
5.
And he knew where everything was.
Yep.
Well, Scott's legacy is right in front of us, because since Scott's passing, the transition has been very smooth, and the training he partake to both of you, and we can see Scott in both of you. So
Exactly.
And we truly appreciate that.
And as a selectman, we do appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. You've made it much easier for us to help run the town. Hopefully we can do the same for you guys and get you there.
And those same little phone calls I now receive from Ron, just like you did from Scott. So I greatly appreciate that.
See, you
Complaining about the phone calls now?
I appreciate it. You, Debbie, Amy, and Doreen, and all you guys have been a great help.
Well, both you and Pat, I mean, you pulled us out of the frying pan. You really have, I mean,
Took a while to file. Yeah.
kept things
Still
going
working at that
and
thing.
got things done, and, you know, the department's running very well. And we, at least I, as a selectman, appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you.
I mean, when Scott was in the hospital and he was quite ill. He was out of St. Mary's one morning, and it was the crossing guard asked me to, we get some snow removed so the traffic could see her. I called down, spoke to you, Pat, and the next thing I know, the backhoe came up the street, the old one, and boom, knocked it down, and for safety's sake, and that was done all within 20 minutes. So, guys, thank you. And
Yeah, that's a nice dedication.
Nice
And with
dedication.
the
Very
Bob's
nice.
words, that I think that'd be just terrific.
Check the spelling. I don't want you to blame me if you spell it wrong.
I thank you, and we'll try to have this ready for the kids. That's going to be the final rollout to the public. We played with a little bit on the common with the big trees, but it's going to be washed up and moved out.
It's getting dirty after that.
Yeah, it is getting dirty after that.
All right, thank you. I think it's great.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you,
Pat,
guys.
thanks for coming in tonight.
Go on, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Go see Doe. Yeah.
Pat,
Thank you.
Bye.
When is the day feel better.
Is it next week?
Okay.
Wednesday,
25th.
25th.
Okay.
Juan's not really sick. Just said he's got allergies, so it's that time of year for a lot of us. So, side. Okay, it is about 4 minutes to 8. We're going to plan it at 8 o'clock.
Why don't you go to general business number 3? I think that's going to be easy.
All right. Okay, I'm going to do general business under Bob's advice. I'm going to do general business number 3. And he said, Chapter 44, 33B, transfers. There are no transfers tonight, so that was easy.
Or we can do check number 2 also.
Oh, well, let's move on to general business number 2. Okay? Okay? And general business number 2 is FY14 appointments. Joe, I'm glad you pointed this out to me. There are no appointments for this evening. Okay? So,
We're flying through.
well, I'm flying through this tonight.
Well, actually, Bob, you're going to do that, you might as well go to 1 also.
Okay. Going into general business number 1. Still have 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Okay. General business number 1, reappointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Eastern Essex Veterans District, Richard Cummings, Selectman Representative, to 6/30/2014. Do I have any
I'll make that
have a
motion.
motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay, Historic District Historical Commission, Linda Cook, to 6/30/2014. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that
I have a
motion.
motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye. No relative. Same name, but
No relative. Okay. Okay. Wow, that was easy for general business.
yeah, that was.
Okay, general business is concluded. And the clock hasn't moved. Okay, I'm gonna do. We'll wait on that one.
You want to do a minute?
That's what I was thinking. Let's go to minutes. June 3rd, 2013. Has everybody read the minutes?
Yes.
Everybody else all set? Do I have a motion to accept the minutes for June 3rd, 2013?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
The executive session for June 3rd, 2013. Everybody read them?
Yep.
Let's see, did I look at those or did I have to
Yeah,
That's right,
Vice
that's
Chairman
right.
Mary was absent.
Bob was absent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bob?
but three of us were there.
Yeah. I'll make a motion, we accept the minutes of the executive meeting,
I have a
June
motion.
3rd.
That's right. I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
You wanna
I abstain.
abstain? Okay. June 17th, 2013. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes? Or have everybody read them?
I read.
Read them? Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes for June 17th, 2013?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
The executive session for January 17th, 2013. Everybody read them? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, accept the minutes of executive session, June 17th.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Joe wasn't here.
I
Joe
wasn't
wasn't
here.
here.
No, Joe was
I was in the
absent.
Azores.
Yeah.
I left the room at 9:20, so.
He left the room at 9:20, but he came back.
Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we hold that tonight's meeting.
Want to hold back on that? Oh, that's right. You did. That's.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay. We'll have to come back to that next week. Okay, so we get three of them out of the way. That's right, too. Okay.
Yep.
So we'll hold the executive session January 17th, 2013. Right. Side. Okay. Close this down for a second. Go back to appointments. Okay, it is about a minute after 8. And we have an appointment with Howard R. Tiernan. Excuse me. To discuss the Conservation Commission. Howard Tiernan of 25 Emily Lane has applied for the open seat on the Conservation Commission. So with that, Mr. Tiernan, can you come down forward, please?
Mr. Chairman, in your package, you do have a letter from Mr. Terrian as well, and the conservation agent is here because I believe Mr. Terrian visited the Concom at one of their recent meetings, and so Mr. Beza could fill you in on that as well.
Okay. This letter, Mr. Terrian. So, dear Selectmen, thank you for your time. I am seeking a position on the Conservation Commission. I retired 2 years ago as Vice President of Parts and Marketing and Distribution of Cummins Northeast, located in Dedham, Massachusetts. We have 6 branches in New England, New York. In this capacity, I am responsible for Cummins engine parts sales and inventory. Our parts sales in the last year were $33 million. Cummins Engine Company is the world's largest manufacturer of diesel engines. When I retired, I was living in Newburyport. I requested Mayor Holliday to find a volunteer position where I might be needed. She appointed me to Sewer Commission, and I was on the board until I moved to Raleigh. At that time, I attended various classes in Northern Essex, including law, medical, and had just completed a suite at home inspection. I'm also a Massachusetts notary. My term expires November 3rd, 2017. My resume indicates my career path. I remained for 32 years at my last position. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you because I retired 4 years ago, and you're going to be busier than you ever were in your life. You just don't know it yet.
Isn't that interesting? You're right.
It picks up like you just wouldn't believe. So, I was here in the Navy from 1961 to 64. Low Technical Institute, Raytheon Company, purchasing agent for Nico Microwave Waltham, purchasing agent for Computer Wrap Burlington, senior buyer Dennison Manufacturing, vice president of parts, marketing and distribution Cummins Engine Company, and sewer commission for up in Newburyport. And welcome to Raleigh. I think
Thank you.
you know, this is a great town.
I came here in 1988. We bought New England Engine out on Route 1.
Oh, did you? Okay.
And that's how I ended up coming on the North Shore. Previous to that, we were in Duxbury.
What do you do in the Navy?
Storekeeper.
Storekeeper?
Yeah.
What's
So
your...
logistics has followed me through my life.
I guess you have. Yeah, logistics. If you don't know logistics, you really can't do anything in the military.
No.
It really is true. You know, what they
It helps
always...
you get a lot of things done, too.
You know, one of the things they said about Robert E. Lee was he never knew logistics. That was one of the problems he had, and that's why some of the historians I've read say that they lost the war because they didn't know logistics, didn't know how to move troops, goods, really. What ships were you on?
Sorry again?
Were you on ships?
I was in Scotland when the Polaris submarines came into existence in 61.
Oh, that's quite interesting.
And I got out about 10 days after the Vietnam War was declared, which of course was never a war declared.
We're going to be kicking that dog around for a long time. That's it.
No, we haven't.
Well, thank you for your service, military service.
Thank you.
So,
Before you go on, I like this position, that Conservation Commission position, but the meetings really are late for my, I want to say my lifestyle, but I'm the caretaker of my wife, and it sort of kind of goes into late. Whereas the sewer commission used to be 4:35, might run to 6:30, and I'd be home and I could go on with the rest of it. So I guess I've got two things that I would say. Is that I would love to be considered for something in the town, but this one here is a little late for my day. And I would withdraw my name for this particular position.
okay.
Didn't mean to make that hard, but that's a fact. I didn't know how to say no. I mean, once you started the ball rolling and I'd attended,
Sure.
I didn't know how to kind of go backwards. But I have a great background that you might find useful on the road. As I mentioned, Chief Broderick was my next door neighbor for quite a few years.
Oh, I appreciate you coming in and being quite frank with us. I mean, yeah, it is the hours. You know, some of these boards, some are very quick. Some it depends on the amount of business and everything else, and all boards need to have evening hours.
I understand that. Yeah. I guess
for the public, because the public needs to come to these meetings, and they if they have business before those boards and commissions and that. But I thank you very much for your frankness, and I understand completely.
So, if there's anything else that you prefer or slot that I try at?
Before he runs out the door, Ken, any thoughts on?
Well, I mean, we do have openings on the planning board as alternate, but that's almost as bad as the commission meeting as far as time-wise.
That one is filled now. Mr. Thornton's on there. It's the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Zoning Board of Appeals, and that's another one that kind of can drag out. If they're doing a 40B or something.
Right.
If Mr. Terrian's indicating he probably doesn't want to be out after, say, 6 or 6:30 in the evening. We also have the fence viewer. We're really looking for a fence viewer and to assist Dick Karam. And that's during the day if there's an issue that comes up.
We could give him two positions.
In the wood barn.
Fence viewer and inspector of lumber and bark. Not that there's a lot of work there. The only thing I'm afraid of is if he's so bored he won't want to stay.
Because he what?
Excuse me, but what they call a fence viewer, it's an old,
Yep.
kind of an old
Yes.
position in town. And what you would do is, we've already have one person here, but it's better to have two, so you kind of can bounce ideas off each other. And there is state law that covers it, so you need to check that out. But if somebody has a complaint about a fence, you go in with your partner and look it over and then make a report back as to what your findings were. I would, if it were me and I were in your position, I would look that up in the state law and see what it entailed and what you might have to do. And if you're interested, get back to us.
Okay.
And there's also the position of inspector of lumber and back, which basically probably does nothing at this point. Because there aren't that many sawmills left in Raleigh. I think there's only one left.
I think I go by one about every day over there.
Yeah. So it's not a lot that happens there, but it's a position that, you know, the state has and needs to be filled.
I'll review that and I will get back to you.
I appreciate that very much.
That might work out because
Yep.
there aren't any set meeting times and,
Yep.
and it's very limited.
Yeah, and you don't have to be around at night. You know, it's a job that be a daytime.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Bob
something-
just said, it would be
You know, when
something you might
like
want
the
to,
fence, you just go look at it, if it meets the requirements of the state
right.
roads and so forth, then it's fine.
Okay.
Well, it's unfortunate it didn't work out, but, you know,
But I loved your
yeah.
resume.
yes.
Yeah, you
Great
got
resume,
a good.
you really
I think
do.
you'd fit in there if we
You know what's
if
funny
we
about a
needed
resume
someone.
like that? On the open market, you can't get anywhere with that anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You can't.
Good resume.
No, it's a
Very
really
good.
good resume, and, you know, again, we thank you for your service way back, and
Appreciate it.
I shouldn't
Yeah,
say way
thank you
back,
for
because I'm
coming
way
in.
back there too.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Very much.
Thank you.
If anything comes up, please keep us in mind. Okay. Brent, anything else?
Mr. Chairman, may I be of further
You
service to
may
the
be
board?
excused. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, Brent, and staying as long as you did.
For having me. Thank you so much.
Lost a good candidate. Right.
Yeah, unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I understand his predicament.
Yeah. Well, he's honest.
Yeah.
Come out.
Yeah. I mean,
Can't make the meetings. You can't make them.
and
Right.
that tells you what kind of a person he was. He
Right.
actually went to a meeting to find out what he was getting into.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, you know, a lot of people
Yeah.
don't do.
But he might consider what we
Mhm.
offered, Bob.
Yeah,
Just-
that'd be good. I mean, if he wants to do something, I think that would work out well for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a position that we have to, we need for the town, and it would work out.
Yeah.
Great qualifications.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, really.
That's what I mean.
Again,
His
it's-
resume is real good. Yeah. Real good.
Yep.
Let me see if I can dig my way back in here. To old business. What did I do? Okay, there we go, I found it. Okay, old business number one, discuss letter from planning board regarding market basket permit changes. The residents of Cedar Lane, who abut the back of Market Basket, have sent the selectmen a list of questions and concerns regarding discussion with the planning board to allow Market Basket make changes to the portion of their property which directly abuts their backyards. The planning board issued a certificate of vote, minor modification, special permit, and site plan approval with conditions during their June 19th, 2013 meeting. A copy of the letter is attached. Is this the second page? This.
Mr. Chairman, we received emails from the abutters, 2 emails. So the first one, I put email 1 of 2 from residents, and then I
Okay.
have a second set, email 2 of 2.
I'll read this into the,
And then there's the copy of the letter that the selectmen were copied on
okay.
the vote. And then there's also, in the package, an email, that Mr. Curran forwarded I guess the residents had received it. Mr. Curran forwarded to the selectmen,
Let me-
showing a picture and some updated things.
Let me get right into the meat of this thing here, and I'll read email, and this is from Mr. Richard Curran, okay? Dear Chairman Snow, given the recent and ongoing efforts of the Board of Selectmen to address, clarify, and rectify issues raised and related to Market Basket, installing a new septic system on the parcel of land bordering Cedar Lane, that the Raleigh Planning Board, during the initial development stages of Market Basket Plaza, set aside as a no-cut, no-disturb area, we would like to make the following request. 1. At a meeting of the Board of Selectmen, after reviewing the Planning Board's modified and revised plan/order designed to mitigate against sight, sound, and smell associated with Market Basket, the Board vote to have Town Council review the order and take all necessary legal actions to record such and to ensure and facilitate full compliance. 2. Once Town Council has completed such, we would respectfully request that the Board of Selectmen vote to memorialize the provisions of the plan and to take actions by Town Council associated with such. Respectfully, Richard Dick Curran, spokesperson for Abutters Market Basket, and this is dated July 15th. We'll go to the next one, and this is dated the 12th of July, and this is from Richard Curran. Dear Chairman Snow, thank you very much for putting this matter on tonight's meeting agenda. Some of the abutters concerns that you might want to consider are as follows. What is the legal standing of the Planning Board's letter? How are these changes to be enforced? Those are 2 bullets. Next bullet. Letter from Planning Board doesn't specify what is being changed in the special permit or site plan from the original plan. Next bullet. Has the modified site plan been signed by the members of the Planning Board? Next bullet. Is the letter from the Planning Board just a memo or file, or is it a fact, a legal document that could hold up in court a law? Next bullet. Has Town Council reviewed this document to make sure that it is in fact accurate and done in accordance with the town's bylaw requirements? If this has not been done, then the abutters would like to request that it be done so that something is to take place on the property in the future, that the documents will be looked upon as legal and binding documents and not just another memo in file. Next bullet. Where are the written details and descriptions of the wooden and chain link fence? Next bullet. Nothing within the document refers to regular maintenance or replacement to any added items. Excuse me. If failure were occur at any time in the future. Along with that, there is no mention to the hours of truck deliveries or the litter from dumpsters. Pickups will be policed and cleaned up in a timely manner. Excuse me. Thank you, Amy. I'm gonna need some water. It's one of those nights. Thank you. Next bullet. The additional tree information should not apply to the trees, but also to the shrubs and other vegetation to be planted. Thank you. Excuse me. Next bullet. Should also state that the debris, brush fallen over trees, etc., from construction or the replacement system should be removed at a time prior to the landscaping and fencing being added. There should also be, next bullet, there should also be an estimate timeline as to the start and completion of the entire project. Next bullet. There may be other items that we have missed, and hopefully the Planning Board or the Board of Selectmen may be more informed on those requirements than the abutters are, and could be incorporated within the document to be filled with filed with the town clerk and at the registry of deeds. In conclusion, I'd like to thank both boards for your time and continued concerns for the residents of this town. Sincerely, Richard Curran, spokesperson for the Butters Market Basket. Excuse me again. Mr. Curran, if you would, bring us up to date here.
Not to belabor the point, and I'm not here to make a big presentation as we did the last time, because you people have been presented the facts, but what we'd like to do is this. In principle, the planning board has agreed to, and the abutters agree with, the site plan that was submitted to the planning board from Market Basket. We agree with it, so we don't want to stop or prevent that from moving forward. They've already started by they've extended the berm on a northwesterly course towards the building behind our house, but now they've got to put the fence in. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. Matthews went to the building inspector today to get the building permit because the fence has been completed. They had it fabricated and it's completed. So we do not want the project stopped. Move forward with it, put in the fences, put in the plantings. What we really request of the selectmen is what you read in your initial reading. I sat on this board a number of times, and we had people, builders, developers, landowners that came before us, and we as the Board of Selectmen issued special order conditions and special permits. Bottom line is what the abutters would like to see, because to be quite frank, when someone tells us that a document that we held is nothing but a memo, but yet it's signed by people that represent, whether it be the Planning Board, the Conservation Commission, the Board of Selectmen, when we're told it's a memo and not a document that would hold up in a court of law, then that it bothers us. It seems as though we really weren't given everything that we needed in order to make our point. So at the end of the day, bottom line, what we would like this board to do, as you read, is to have the town council look over all the documentation, make sure that all the T's have been crossed and the I's have been dotted, and if you folks need to issue special permits or order conditions, we ask that you do that.
I think, looking at this, having sat on the planning board, and understanding the special permits and that process, one thing that concerns me here is hearing a minor modification of a special permit. A fence or a structure like that, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a minor modification.
I agree.
That is a structure that if you're going to put this needs to go to registry of deeds or something and be documented,
right?
Because you've been involved in these things before. These things can come back to haunt people.
And to be quite frank with you, Mr. Chairman, it has.
Already.
It's come back
to exactly.
to haunt the abutters. And we've spent almost as much time on this, if I may say, minor modification. We've spent as much time on this as it took on the entire project back in the 80s and 90s.
I'd like to ask for any suggestions from the board.
So far, what have they done now? I mean, have they, remember you came in a while back? Yeah. Have they modified anything that the approach looks better? I mean, have they? The site plan that we have been presented as abutters by Market Basket through the planning board is satisfactory. of course, as we all know, what's on paper
Right.
and what actually is
Yeah,
done,
done.
it looks different.
Yeah.
Because to go back to when they put in the double row of trees on the berm that they put in there 2 years ago, you know, on paper it looked pretty good. But when it was put in, then, you know, even through Mr. Matthews' own words, there weren't enough trees. It wasn't enough to bring it back to where we didn't see it, we didn't hear it. So, but what they've done now on paper and in principle is good, as long as once they do it, and I think we all agree that once they put that in, that should mitigate, or at least bring it close to, because we're probably looking at 4 or 5 years out before all the trees that they're going to plant in there are going to come to a point where we're not going to see the building anymore. We're not going to be disturbed by the noise. But it's a large improvement over what we had 2 years ago.
Bob, you have any suggestions or comments?
Well, I think the abutters have a good point here in the questions they ask, because we have, in fact, paid the price from not doing it originally. This has all come back to us, and it's been going on for some time. It's been a lot of work even for Market Basket, so they should be amenable to allowing us to set down a specific set of conditions and get that filed with the registry, so we have a document 10 years from now that we can go back to and say, yeah, this is what it's supposed to be, this is how it's supposed to be done.
Right.
If that had happened back in the 80s, we wouldn't be here today.
Right, exactly.
So, I think we need to catch up with this and get it done right the second time around.
Joe?
I fully support what Bob just said, that my concern is that we're going around a second time and that we might not get any results that we're looking for, that we should have the town council look at this and that we do get it filed with the registry of deeds so that we have the documents in hand. And everything is documented, the T's are crossed, you know, and everything, we have something to go with.
So it
A
sounds,
legal document.
it sounds to me that the board is in a full agreement that this should go to town council to be looked at. Is that correct?
I think that would be a good start.
I think,
Yeah.
I fully support that.
Yeah, there's a good,
Go back to
this
the
is
planning
very
board.
good presented, what you read and what
Okay.
Mr. Curran's presented.
In that
Yeah.
case, I'm gonna ask for the board, for someone to give me a motion.
I will move that that this be presented to the town council for review and so that we can proceed and get the documents filed properly.
Second it.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Now, there was a late email that was received by myself, and I believe were the selectmen copied in on that? I received it late today.
Okay.
With
So it's like 23 pages, I think.
Okay.
I haven't had an opportunity to review it at all. We haven't had an opportunity to review it all. But that, to the best of my knowledge and understanding, that's what's been filed at the Registry of Deeds in Salem. So we would like to have town council review that, just to make
Absolutely.
sure that,
Yes. I agree.
Right.
not that I don't like coming to these meetings, but at the end of the day, I think you people have things that you'd like to get on
Well,
with.
Richard, you know that we enjoy your company.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I really don't put words in my mouth, Dick. We do enjoy your company, we really do.
The document that you read that makes the request formally from the abutters, the abutters present here tonight have signed it. I'd like to present it to you, Mr. Chairman. All right? And if I may just ask that we receive a copy of that
Sure.
when we are finished. And basically, you've done what we've asked you to do. You voted on it, so.
Well, good fences make good neighbors.
We thank
Well, not only,
support too.
Excuse me?
I mean, it's been years. We thank the board, you people, for the support that you've given us, because it's been many, many years that we've had to live with this.
and we'd just like to get it over with, you know. Well, we have to go to town council, but we have to follow up and make sure that things progress, that we
And-
can't let
and
it
it's-
die.
Both sides protected. It's
Right.
not just one side, both sides are protected
Right.
by, in a document like this.
And as you said earlier, that you want things to progress because
Yes, we do.
we are
Yes,
making progress,
Yes, we are.
but we
Yes,
want
we
to
are.
get it in writing also.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because to be very honest with you, as we all know, there's laws to protect the abutters, and there's also because they're an abutter to us.
Right.
And I don't think that any of them want, not that I don't believe anybody here would do it, and I don't think they want a cell tower put up behind the building there,
No, you're right.
or a helicopter pad.
Well,
We'll
anyways,
stop on that one.
Richard, anything else?
That's it, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming in tonight, and I
Thank
hope
you very
that.
much.
For having us.
I just
Thank
want to
you.
make a disclosure.
Go ahead.
Not received an application for a helicopter pad on Cedarwood Lane.
Nor a cell tower. Amy, can we have a copy of this and give this to Mr. Curran and the abutters? Sounds like a group, Mr. Curran and the abutters.
Yeah.
You can make
I think Dick plays the drums.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for Bob.
Thank you.
Bob,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Oh,
Jack.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you again.
Same here.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, old business. 3. Oh. Business number 2. Okay, sign agreement with NEDP LLC for Town Common Tree Landscape Restoration Project. NEDP LLC has returned the signed agreement payment bond and insurance certificate. The Board of Selectmen now needs to vote and sign the agreement with a revised completion date of September 30th, 2013. The Selectmen need to sign both originals. Debbie has issued a notice to proceed to NEDP LLC. The company will coordinate the planting of the trees with Dan Spansky and the chairman of the Town Common Restoration Committee. Excuse me. The project is underway, and the Highway and Light Department crews have been removing trees on the town common that were slated to be cut. So with that, I have a motion from the board.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Bob. Thank goodness you brought that pen tonight.
Yeah, it was interesting driving by the town common today to see stumps and trees cut down, but the highway and the
Did a
light
great job.
department are doing a great job to get that ready so that we can do the planting.
2 days they
For the
had,
trees.
with the help of the light department and tree.
Yep.
2 days and practically all the wood's gone. You know, people buy all weekend.
And we do have people who are going to, they cut levels out of the tree, so they're going to count the rings to see
Oh,
how
yeah?
long, and the distance between the rings, so that they can get an idea of what the growth pattern was.
Wow.
Mr. Chairman, there have been several inquiries as well as to what's going on. I don't know, I just want to draw that to your attention. We do explain to people that
They have
we are in the middle of
Basically,
the project.
They started last Thursday, I believe, cutting the trees, and some people did inquire as to what was actually happening, and just want to reassure the townspeople that this has been an ongoing project since, I think, 2010, when it was first brought up by the Garden Club, Salt Marsh Garden Club. And we've got CPC funds to do the restoration of the trees on the common, and we're planning to have it done this year, so it'll be ready next year for the 75th anniversary. So there will be trees replaced, and get back on common, and
Thank you.
it should be very nice once they get planted and start to grow. So
Right.
just let people know that we're not just cutting down the trees and forgetting about it. It's going to be redone, and it's going to look very nice when it's finished.
It really does look different when you drive down.
Oh, yes, very
And,
much so.
you know, it's so sparse.
Right.
And the common is so, you know, so it does make a big difference.
I think, Bob, saying that Win Haley planted them, I think, like 50 years ago.
Yes.
Most of the, remember you used to go with a barrel in the truck and water
A
them?
couple of 55-gallon
Yeah,
drums.
drums in the back of the
Every
truck.
day during the summertime.
About 50 years ago, I'm saying.
When weather like this, he was out there every day watering those trees
Yeah.
by hand.
Wow.
Yeah. So, towards that end, there was some mention about donating dedicating a tree to Scott. We had also made a suggestion that there were some benches that would be needed out there, and we did mention that at one of the meetings. And I think that would be nice, because Scott was involved with the first benches that we put out there. So I think that dedicating a bench to Scott would be nice once we get the trees planted and things settled out. I think the garden committee mentioned something about dedicating a tree, and my suggestion would be to Winfield Haley, because he's the one that planted all of those maples out there after we lost the elm trees to the Dutch elm disease.
At no charge.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, he did that all on his own.
He worked every
Yeah.
summer watering those trees in the hot weather like we've had this last couple of weeks, and
Yeah, I think that would
they
be
all
fitting.
survived.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they were big enough and they were close enough to the street that the sun finally got to them from the plowing of the streets, but I think that would be appropriate.
Good idea.
Also, they're going to replace the dogwood tree. And my suggestion for...
By the gazebo?
No, it's actually on this end, down by the...
Oh, that's right, yes.
Yeah,
between
it's
the
right on.
Civil War Monument and Revolutionary War Monument. And my suggestion for that one would be that we dedicate that to Bob Curley. Because I know for a fact that Bob Curley planted that tree. And you probably heard my story. I worked for him when I was working for the light department on weekends.
How long now?
It's back in the 60s. And I was there the day that we planted it. I dug the hole, and Bob told the people what we were doing.
A little bit of the thing about the tree.
Yeah, it was. It was very small. It was a dogwood tree. Unfortunately, it's to the point where it's not going to survive, because it's all it's split, and the base is rotting. So they assured me that they would be planting another dogwood there. So
Yes, they are.
I would like it when we do these dedications, if we could do that. At least I want us to think about it.
Okay.
I don't know if
Good
we want
idea.
to make a decision at this point, but I would like to think about it and see if we can come up with something.
Good idea.
Credit where it's due.
There's a town down in Southern Connecticut, Fairfield, might be Fairfield. They have a dogwood festival. You ever been down there? The whole town, everybody has dogwoods. The whole town. I mean, in there. When you mentioned dogwood, I think it's a pretty tree.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. This one has the pink blossoms when it's in out, so.
When you're a young man, you never notice trees, and you get older, I know, for some reason. You start to notice these things.
That was back in the 1660s, right?
You talking to me or Bob?
Yes. I remember well, Joe. I remember well.
Okay, old business number 3. Discuss site visit to Pennachuck Water Service Corporation and Nashua Water Department. Chairman Snow feels that we should have a small group work on researching the operations of the water departments. He feels it would be easier to have a small group focus on evaluating how private companies can provide service to municipal water departments. He is recommending that we don't schedule a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and the Water Board, but rather have Water Commissioner Stuart Delzell Jr. Senior, I'm sorry, who has been actively researching this, and 2 selectmen go on the visit to Pennachuck Water Company in Nashua, New Hampshire, the Water Department. Chairman Snow will then recommend that this group visit another water department who uses another water service company. Then at some point after that, he would like to convene a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and Water Board Commissioners to discuss the group's findings. How does the board feel about this action?
Well, I think it's, actually, I'm not gonna be able to make Wednesday. I have Thursday on the 18th. Commitment that day. I think it would be a lot easier to handle if we had a smaller committee just look into it and then report back to the joint Selectmen and Water Department. I think it would be much easier to handle.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I have for this to make it smaller is when you go in and you have to post the meeting. We're all going. We can't talk, which we shouldn't talk. We don't deliberate anyways. We're in any kind of meeting, but there's a lot of restrictions and a lot of things that a lot of questions that have to be asked as you're touring a facility like that, and I feel it's a burden. It's it doesn't
take notes. You gotta.
That's right.
Take a lot down and
then you come back and then it's more of a burden than it is going there and investigating and having a sort of a free day to really ask some questions and get into the meat of the subject and understand how these private companies work. I don't think it would be healthy.
I fully agree with you, and I was one that 2 weeks ago suggested the date of the 18th, and it turns out I knew there was something happening that day, and it's my annual physical, so I can't make it.
Okay.
So I think that it's a great idea. I would like to be a part of it, but it just works out that.
So that puts us down to you, Jack, and to Dave. Dave
but
back?
Dave's not going to be around though.
Is Dave back?
I believe he's coming back on Wednesday. I'm not sure.
Wednesday.
So
that would give So
yeah, my understanding was.
How do you feel, Jack?
Well, I hate saying too. I had 3 months ago a doctor's appointment in Jocelyn.
Okay.
2:00. I won't be able to make it back.
Okay.
Thursday afternoon.
Let's see if we can get Dave to go. Okay.
Okay.
And then he and I and Stu can go up there. And,
You're going to go though?
Oh, I'm definitely going to go. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah, good.
we
That'll
need to,
work out.
We need to, take a look at this operation and get a feel for it. Maybe, it may be up our alley. It may not be, but we can get
But we ought to be able to, check out a few, maybe 2 or 3 more that, Right.
because this is something that's very important to the town, and we do have to do something about
what
this.
the town has gone through. Okay. It needs to be addressed, and it's up to this board and the commissioners to address it, to make sure, this is our most important resource in the town.
Yes.
And we have to make sure that this service, is not only protected, but is there for, to serve the people of this town long after we're gone.
Yep.
So I think it's very, very important, especially where we're, coming forward for the water treatment plant, bringing that online as of next February, March, okay, and just the ongoing service. We really got to get into the meat of this thing and look at how we're going to put, these services will come to the people.
Right. Absolutely.
Anything to add, gentlemen?
No, you're definitely right. I mean, what we've been going through here in the last year down there, it's been, you know, a tragic thing for the people of Raleigh. And the main thing is have clean, nice, safe water. The people, with this new plant comes on, but until we look at, I think I would love to go on, but I think now that if it's you or Dave, it's not a full board, and Stu go, but it'd only have to be one. Tim wouldn't be able to go because now you're gonna have to
That's right.
post a meeting. So I think it's really, really worthwhile. I mean, I'd love to go
If Dave
at
can't go,
another.
it would just be Stu and myself go up. And, you know, that's
Yeah.
fine too. But I think,
Quick ride up there and go through the basics, bring back some paperwork and stuff, and how they run.
as we've gone, you know, these past few months, all the things that we've addressed in the water department, trying to correct, we promised the people that we would correct them. And we get it back on its feet again. And we have to do that. And this is the beginning. So,
It's worth a look at.
It is.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely, worth a look at.
all right. Okay, moving on to new business. Discuss governor's veto in local aid to state budget. The governor has vetoed $177 million on unrestricted general government aid to state budget. According to the Massachusetts Municipal Association, this veto cuts unrestricted municipal aid to 1986 levels. Chairman Snow will read the MMA statement on the governor's veto, dated July 12, 2013. Chairman Snow will call for a motion to send a letter to Senator Tar and Representative Hill, calling for them to support the override veto. Okay. The statement from MMA Executive Director on the governor's $177 million local aid veto. The massive and unnecessary local aid veto announced by Governor Patrick earlier today would impose $177 million in deep and painful cuts on cities and towns, schools, citizens in every corner of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The governor's veto would slash unrestricted municipal aid down to 1986 levels and create widespread fiscal distress in nearly every city and town. If this cut is actually imposed, communities will be forced to implement sweeping reductions in vital services, including police, fire, education, public works, libraries, and much more. Cities and towns would lay off thousands of municipal school employees, increase their reliance on regressive property taxes. The governor's local aid veto would reduce direct local aid from $920 million passed by the legislature down to $743 million, a 19% cut that would result in a diversion of $110 million in local lottery funds away from the cities and towns, and use the dollars to balance the state budget instead of funding local services as originally intended in state law. On behalf of the cities and towns across the state, we urgently call on the legislature to override this veto as quickly as possible to restore the stability to local budgets and ensure the communities can deliver essential municipal and educational services that the taxpayers of Massachusetts expect and deserve. If this veto is allowed to stand, communities will face an unexpected, undeserved, devastating fiscal crisis. So with that, a letter to Senator Hill and Tar, the Raleigh Board of Selectmen, vote to request your support of vote to override Governor Patrick's veto to unrestricted municipal aid in the state's FY14 budget. We are asking you to override this veto and to protect the town of Raleigh's unrestricted state aid. The town of Raleigh needs every dollar unrestricted state aid, including local lottery funds, which are intended to be not dispersed to the cities and towns. We respectfully request you consider our position on this matter. Please do not hesitate to contact Town Administrator Deborah Egan if you have any questions. So with that, any discussion from the board?
This is something that we have to support.
Yeah.
We have to get the
Yeah.
legislature
Count
to
it to scope.
overturn that veto. I can't imagine what the governor is doing.
Doing with this.
Just
right.
playing politics with with those dollars.
And it finally got to a point where we're beginning to see a little daylight at the end of the tunnel, and now all of a sudden they're shutting the window.
Yeah. Closing the light on the tunnel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Definitely.
this needs to be addressed, and I think the only way to do this is, go to our legislators
Mm-hmm.
and tell them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll make a motion that we send the letter to Senator Tarr and to Representative Hill.
Second it.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll all sign this, gentlemen. Okay, Bob, we need the pen.
Did I tell you that I actually rent that?
I'm paying a lot of money for it then.
Yes, you are.
You don't have one of them, Bob?
What's that? Oh,
Bob?
No, sorry.
I'm losing my voice tonight. It's probably good because the meeting is almost over.
Got two here to sign, have we?
No. Just that one.
Okay.
Okay, gentlemen,
Copy
thank you very
of both
much.
of them.
Excellent. All right. That concludes all our business. All we have left is announcements. Raleigh Food Pantries needed donations. The Raleigh Food Pantry is open Tuesdays from 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and Thursdays from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Again, the food baskets is one at the library here you can drop off, or you can do behind the parsonage, right next to the Baptist Church, at those specific times. Okay, they need all items, anything you can bring in. This is, especially this time of year, people are away, it's a good time to drop off items. Again, if you can't make at the parsonage, right over here at the library, there's a basket in the foyer. Correct, Joe?
Correct.
Okay. So the town has the following open seats. Oh, one thing we forgot. Don't forget the battery drop-off box that's in the corridor here. Have any old alkaline batteries, instead of disposing them, put them in a plastic bag, put them aside, come down, drop them off here, also at the library or at the annex. Okay. And again, why throw them in the landfill when we have somebody who will dispose them for us? Okay. Town has the following vacant seats. Zoning Board of Appeals, 3 associate open seats, 2 fence viewer positions, and the lumber bark inspector. Wood lumber bark inspector. Okay. So with that concludes everything for tonight. We're on summer hours, so we will not convene another meeting until the 29th of July. So with that, for all you out there, stay cool, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Good night now.
Good night.